What's it like to be a journalist in Gaza right now?
I know that I might be killed, I might get arrested, but I cannot leave it. If I leave it, who will remain? Who will keep reporting?
A sudden loud exploding being heard just a few meters away.
This is Tareq Abu Azzoum, a correspondent with Al Jazeera English. He's been working every single day since October 7th.
It's a new bloody attack that has been carried out.
Unfortunately, there's no any day off. Even when we return back to our houses, coverage does not end.
It's a night of hell.
You are absorbing an unfathomable level of trauma that I don't think anyone in the world has experienced, because this is so unprecedented.
Sometimes we return back to our houses loaded with negative psychological pressure. Even wake up with the sound of the drone. So you've been feeling that there is a kind of constant threat to your life. But what you should do, should you give up?
Israel has killed over 100 Palestinian journalists and media workers in Gaza, including 4 from Al Jazeera. Tareq has had to report on the death of his own colleagues.
He had been killed by an Israeli fire today, and right now we are taking him to bury him.
Palestinian journalists have nothing to lose. They just keep going on. Sometimes they have lost their family members, and the same hour they return back to stand in front of the camera, only for one purpose: to keep the world informed. Palestinian journalists are heroes.
Israel bans foreign journalists from entering Gaza, with the exception of some who embed with the Israeli military and are often subject to their censorship.
Media outlets must submit footage filmed in Gaza to Israeli military for review.
That means Palestinians alone are left to report on their own genocide.
To be a journalist in Gaza is to be both the person who reports on the attack and the eyewitness as well.
I wanted to ask Tareq his thoughts about the coverage of the war in Western media, which has a well-documented pro-Israel bias.
Recently, we saw a New York Times memo that was leaked where they tell their journalists to avoid the words genocide, ethnic cleansing, occupied territory, and even in some cases, refugee camp. What do you make of that?
An attack on a house in the Gaza Strip that had killed more than 100 people. Is that not genocide? It's a complete genocidal act. Refugee camps, what you are describing, people are lining up in long queues just to get water, to get few loaves of bread. If acts in Gaza Strip do not really help them to completely shed the light on the suffering of those people, they need completely to revise their ethics of journalism.
What is your message to Western journalists, and how should they be supporting Palestinian journalists in Gaza like yourself?
You can just amplify the voice of Palestinians to be heard to the world. We have been completely fighting the Israeli media obfuscation and even misinformation, misleading to the world about what's happening in Gaza. Try as much as possible to be the voice of the voiceless.
Do you plan on leaving Gaza?
No.
Why not?
Because it's my land. I cannot leave it. So keep reporting, keep delivering the message to the international community about what is happening. These acts must be spotlighted, and that is journalism.
Tareq Abu Azzoum, Al Jazeera, Rafah, southern Gaza.